Meanwhile, the opposition leader of the Devinura Pradesh Sabha Tushara Vijaysurya says that if the police had carried out their duties yesterday, the clashes that broke out in Mathura could have been prevented.
He made this statement at a media briefing convened this afternoon.
When we approached Mathura, there was a large group armed with poles and clubs. They were in front of the Mathura police at this point. We saw police officers there too, but no action was taken. They assaulted us with sticks, stones and bottles. Some of our people were injured. We concluded that fight and kept moving forward. If the police had taken action with regard to these people armed with sticks and clubs, then a clash like this could have been prevented.
The bodies of the 5 persons who drowned after their boat capsized in the seas of Vanathavillu in Putnam have been returned to their families following the post-mortem examination.
Now, the police say that none of the victims were wearing life jackets.
The boat carrying a group of people on a sea excursion had capsized in the seas coming under the purview of the Navy post in Palugature. The police say that the vessel was an ordinary fishing boat with a passenger capacity of 4. However, the police say that there were 18 people on board. The police said that the chief petty officer of the Navy post in Palugature and a group of relatives were aboard the vessel. The victims are all residents of the Thalangama North area in Battaramulla. 3 of the victims were women and a small girl was also counted among the victims. One of the women, 36-year-old Champika Shiromani, was the wife of the Navy officer who was also killed. Their daughter, 4-year-old Virule Ranulya, also drowned. 19-year-old Chaturika Subhashini, 47-year-old Lalani Gomez and 57-year-old Dayananda Pereira were the other victims of the accident. 2 women who were injured in the incident have been hospitalized. The police said that one of the women is being treated at the Puttalam hospital while the other was admitted to the Mollikulama Navy hospital.
The Commonwealth Valley, which commenced today's leg of its cross-country journey in Batticaloa, reached Ampara this evening.
And the Shogun Rally, jointly organized by MTV and NBC networks, together with the Ministry of Mass Media and Information and Sri Lanka Youth.
The Shogun Rally embarked from Batticaloa today towards Ampara. Deputy Minister of Resettlement Vinayagamurthy Muralidharan, Batticaloa District Secretary P.M.S. Charles, Senior DIG of the Eastern Province Pujay Jayasundara and the Commanding Officer of the 12th Gajabay Regiment, Major Rohan Rajpaksa, participated at a special ceremony held at the Batticaloa town this morning. On the main float of the procession, carrying the flags of the 54 member nations of the Commonwealth, the national flag of Belize was lowered on the main flag staff today and replaced with the national flag of Botswana.
From the day this procession commenced, I have been following it on your TV channels and radio stations. People who did not know about the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting have been made aware through this rally. I honestly wish you all the best. The rural people did not know what this was at the beginning. Now if you ask a small child about the member nations of the Commonwealth and its uniqueness, they are able to tell you. The MTV network will continue on this journey.
I am thankful on behalf of the people here for the raising of the national flag of Botswana.
I'm very glad to note about the happenings here. It's one of the best exposures in the recent past, and we are going to have it in the near future. Actually, to expose the actual situation in the country to the international arena.
On its journey towards Ampara, the Shogun Rally received a warm welcome in Kalmune. The flag of Botswana was lowered and the national flag of Brunei hosted on the main flag staff. After passing several towns and villages, the Shogun Rally arrived in Ampara, bringing to an end day 5 of the cross-country journey, which commenced at Point Pedro. A concert featuring singers from the Shakti Superstar series was held at the Ampara bus stop. On day 6 tomorrow, the Shogun Rally will make its way from Ampara to Mahiyangana via Padyatalava.
A talent show and sports meet for persons with respiratory disabilities was held at the Ragama Rheumatology and Rehabilitation Hospital.
The maiden event was organised by the Sri Lanka Network for Respiratory Disability, the Ministry of Health and the Ragama Rehabilitation Hospital. Teams from the Vaunia Ragama Ranaviru Sevana and the Ragama Rehabilitation Hospital participated in the event.
Next week I will submit a cabinet paper requesting a rack at every supermarket to sell products manufactured by them as a small measure of support. Then their products will not be isolated. We have discussed numerous programs to provide them with economic strength, and these are being implemented. His Excellency the President, via the Minister of Social Services, is now engaged in programs to financially strengthen households instead of building more elders' homes.
Events including the discus throw, javelin throw and wheelchair races were incorporated in the sports meet.
If these patients are properly rehabilitated, they will be able to showcase their talent. Our intention is to reintegrate them to the community instead of shutting them out.
Well, tonight on the Words of Wisdom, we take a look at the thoughts of Demosthenes, a prominent statesman and orator in the ancient Greek city of Athens, on the subject of opportunity.
Small opportunities are often the beginning of great enterprises. Demosthenes.
The Ministry of Fisheries and Aquatic Resource Development says that there has been significant growth in Sri Lanka's fisheries industry over the past 5 years.
Well, the ministry says that from 2008 to 2012, Sri Lanka's seafood production increased by 55%. This is incidentally the highest number in the nation's history. The Ministry of Fisheries and Aquatic Resource Development says that as a percentage of gross domestic product, the fisheries industry amounted to 1.5% in 2008 and grew to 1.8% in 2012.
On the 29th of May 2011, the residents of the Soisapura housing scheme in Moratuwa listened to views expressed at an event held there, which indicated that this government is unique to the world when it comes to carrying out certain public services. There is no government anywhere in the world which allocated such amounts of money for all the housing schemes. You must be thinking that the government has lost its mind. In spite of the minister's premise, the next day Action TV carried an expose on the problems being faced by a group of residents at the flats who are well aware that providing common amenities is a responsibility of the government and were not allowed to even approach the minister to seek a solution. They crept out. A guard who was there said that the minister was in a hurry and that he could only speak about the renovation of 4-story buildings at the scheme. I do not say that it is wrong. That is a good thing as well. The problem faced by this group of residents who appreciated the work being done on the 4-story building at the scheme was that their homes were in a dilapidated state. Action TV also pointed out that this problem had arisen at 48 2-story flats in the housing scheme as a result of the National Water Supply and Drainage Board drawing pipes from the main drainage pipeline in Colombo adjacent to the scheme. Residents of 80 2-story flats at the scheme were paid compensation by the National Water Supply and Drainage Board and evicted as the pipes were being laid. Although the residents of these 48 2-story buildings requested that they be treated the same, the National Water Supply and Drainage Board did not accede to this request. However, on the 18th of November 2011, the foundation stone was laid for the construction of 20 new flats, replacing these 48 flats.
Action TV came here and highlighted our plight, and we are now very happy.
Although construction on these 20 flats have now been completed, only 16 of these flats have been allocated for the residents of these 48 flats.
We hope that
we too will receive a fair deal in the third phase at least. We are still living in this rubbish heap.
Shouldn't the National Water Supply and Drainage Board provide assistance towards the construction of new homes to relieve the pressure on the remaining 32 families? Minister of Water Supply and Drainage, this is over to you.
The foundation stone for a rural community cultural centre and Nanasala Centre in Palugasthavana Polonnaruwa was laid today under the auspices of Minister Maithripala Sirisena.
A sum of 7.6 million rupees has been allocated for this project. People in some villages do not know when death comes. They do not even think about death. Some people attempt to live as if they were immortals. People like this cause problems for society. If we work thinking that we will die just as we were born, then the problems will reduce.
Well, Newsfirst reporter Nageshwaran Purushottam from Kalawanchikudi filed this report on problems being faced by fishermen in the area.
Although Kalawanchikudi is one of the main towns in the Batticaloa district, the lamps of the signal post on the coast have been dysfunctional for several months, seriously inconveniencing the fishing community here. Fishermen say that the lack of signals when they return from sea greatly increases the risk of accidents.
Up next is The Bitter Truth.
The bitter truth has pointed out many times the lack of quality seen in the synthetic track laid at the Sugadadasa Stadium in Colombo. In response, the authorities of the Sugadadasa Sports Complex claimed that the synthetic track laid conformed to international standards. They produced a certificate issued by the International Athletics Association as proof for it. Though a certificate was produced, issues in the synthetic track are still not over. The latest example comes today when athletes were inconvenienced due to the track at the All-Ireland Inter-Schools Athletics Championship, which concluded today.
The carpet on the fourth track was damaged. When I was about to sprint, I slipped and fell as the block moved backwards.
The block pushed back at the start. My student fell and ended finishing second. This track is not suitable to hold meets.
The athletes do not have a good start due to the damages in the tracks. They even got disqualified from the meet.
Director of Sports in Schools B.A. Abhiratna and the Minister of Sports have previously agreed that the tracks are not in good standard. The Minister of Sports stated that the sports complex will be closed from the 15th in order to renovate the synthetic tracks. The same individuals who claimed that the track was in line with international standards have now agreed to shortcomings.
And that's a wrap for tonight's Primetime News Bulletin. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Nicola De Zoiza.
And I'm Shahan Jarampati. We leave you tonight with a look at tomorrow's weather forecast. Good night and take care.
Hotline 0114-896-896 www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.